Okay, good morning traders. Welcome to Trade Setup in the morning stream, the live stream for the 2nd of November. Um, Hope everyone's well. We've just got the usual. So if you want to have a chat about something, is there anything at all? We're going to take a look at a few things obviously today, but if anyone's got any other ideas or something they want to look at, whether it's a sector, whether it's just a couple of different stocks, feel free to either send through a chart to support at tradesetup.com.au, or just put the code on chat or whatever you want to look at anyway. So I hope everyone's is getting this coming through quite well. We've had a few little issues, but I think they're sorted out now. So hope we're doing well. Let's get into it. Let me just get started. I'll get rid of this here. Now, obviously we saw the US last night. Got sold off quite heavily, along with Europe. They all got sold off pretty heavy. All the major indices. It looks like there's a bit of argy-bargy with the US presidential elections. Obviously, or in my opinion, not too many people want to see a Trump as president, and it looks like there was one poll last night, I think, that came out, ABC News and Washington Post, I think, had a poll out that it looks like Trump is actually taking the lead, suggesting that he's taking the lead. So I think the market didn't take too kindly to that sort of news. That, and there's a few other, I think, potentially inflationary numbers that have come through overnight. So that's obviously pointing to a rate rise in the US. So we'll have to see how all that goes. Any views on the Trump Clinton election? I think it's it's the best out of a bad bunch, really. Yeah, it's my opinion. I don't rate either of them as much. I mean, I don't follow it that much, but just going off the news, and I guess it's politics in a way. There's always someone, rather than talking about what they're going to do for the country, let's talk about what the other person's not going to do. So it's a bit silly in my opinion, but I guess that's the way it is. Yeah, let's take a look. We've got the markets down 40. It's open lower, open pretty weak as we would expect after last night. We want to just before I forget, I just want to have a bit of a look at gold. We've started to form an opinion that gold is looking quite good. I think there's a lot of these stocks that have been contracting for quite a while. We've got one right on the screen here, Northern Star. It's been contracting for a while, so it'd be interesting to see how all those gold stocks play out. But yeah, I think there's a lot of them are coming to a good buy zone there. Um, I've got a list, and we'll just have a quick. If there's any sort of gold stock that someone wants to look at that I may not have on my, I've just got a basic list there, that stuff that I follow. If there's anything up there, just let us know, and we'll put it up on the screen and have a look. But yeah, we'll take a bit of a look at gold. Now we've got just, I guess, recapping the positions we've got a couple of shorts that actually going very well. Didn't realise it was down quite hard there. So we've got ASX is we've got a short entry from 47.01, so that's up about $1, close to, not far off at the moment, which is looking really solid. I think that could go. Yeah, there is some support down at that 43, 44, that sort of zone just in here as it comes down to that support zone there. I don't know if it could pull up short, roughly around here. It might find a bit of reaction off 46, that whole number, just because it has had a bit of a. There was a bit of resistance there previously, which it broke through. It could provide a bit of support there, but in this weak type of market, it could easily blow through there. We'll see how that goes, but that's looking. That's really going quite well in our favour. There's two ways to look at this actually. If we draw it up, uh, just get over here. Just this is just going through how we look to project targets and just get areas where we might find reactions. Basically, I like to look at it. Just go here. Let's go ASX. There's different ways. Obviously, there's hard and fast targets you have, which at the moment we've sort of got one. Actually, if we just go back, it's more right through this level here. You've got it touching up there. So, I guess it's a minor one just through here as well. So you've been touching up in that resistance, provide a resistance, build a higher low, and then you break out through that level. You've got another level through there. It's more of a basic level, and then you've potentially got just a minor, I reckon it's more minor around that 46 mark. Now, when we view that, okay, it's potentially got a few little levels to get through, which I don't put a lot of stock into this 46 level. It's more coming back into this buy zone where people were willing to buy it. Could push down into that and just put pressure on those longs. So anyone that's sort of bought it in there and rode that up there and hasn't got out, just thinking it's going to go well, it could really put some pressure on when it pushes down into that market. So into that level. That's what we sort of look for. That where's it going to put pressure on people who are potentially long? We don't know what's happening, obviously. I guess the smart longs, if you're a smart buyer in here, rather than just buy and hold, I think, and this is just as a side, I think buying and holding's gone out the door, and it should be going out the door. I think you should really be trading markets, not just buy and hold for the longer term. After the GFC, we see it doesn't quite work anymore. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But I think you've got to trade markets more. So anyone that's sort of bought it in here, held for that push up, and thinks longer term it's going to go up, they're going to come under some pressure, and we don't know what's going to happen going forward. So I think that sort of style doesn't work for me. I would have preferred to just put a stop under here. If that's okay, that's a reaction down there. It's quite a savage reaction, really. Had a bit of consolidation here, it started pushing up, I would have been putting a stop in there, just to at least a break-even trade. But there's people that don't, and that's what's going to come under pressure just down here. Might find some more buyers stepping in, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's looking good for us. So what I was saying about trying to project where a move could go, you can take it from the highs, and we sort of take those reaction levels. Obviously we can see there's been a bit of a buy up here, taking out some of those minor lower highs and built a minor lower low, if you can see that there. So you got that from that high there down to that reaction level, and then you can just project it down for sort of that swing high. Ooh, it's going to be a bit hard to do, but say it's roughly down in there, so that could take us down to 45 just as a bit of a target. So that just gives you an idea. So you've got these levels marked up. It sort of coincides with another level there. So really we could ride this down. We might even look at taking some off the board soon if we see a bit of strength come in the market. But at the moment there's nothing really showing us. The market's just pushed down another 10 points, 15 points, down 54. So if that continues, we should see this continue to get sold off. But that's one way we start to look where that current leg down could take us. Does that make sense to everyone there? If you have any questions just on that style, we do that time. We call that our volatility projection. No problem saying that word, don't I? Volatility projection there. So yeah, we look for those moves down, look for that swing back up again, and then project that down to where it potentially could go to. And the same on the upside. It's pretty much exactly the same. Sometimes it's fairly clear, sometimes it's not. But yeah, that's going quite well. It's actually pushed down through 46, so that's beautiful. We also got the Telstra short going well. We wanted to get through that 92 level, which has got through. So just be wary of this. If I don't like to give anyone advice really, but if you're thinking about a long here, you quite like it for whatever reason, I don't know, just be wary that it's getting through quite a significant level on a weekly basis. So you've got a level through here at 5. It's touched through, washed it out, pull back. It's taken out these highs as well. So it's really just building steam for that move down. And it's starting to go, and it's pushed down again through 5, being bought up slightly. Only it really started failing. So that there's what made us happy to go short. That move up to 520 really just stalling and failing on the daily basis, and then it's just pushing down through 492. So I think that's quite an important level just to keep an eye on. So we'll see if that could potentially, if this market holds down and still looks really negative, this could start building some steam towards the end of the day and really sell off quite hard. It's only down, it's not even down 0.5% just at the moment, but a bit of volume up there as well. But really it could just collapse. So just be wary if you're going long. If you're short, I think we're looking good. TGR is another short we've got going there. That looks, really do like that. Let's draw that up too. Let's just quickly draw that up. That's not what I want. If I just can put that in a better chart. Now, TGR's Tashel Group. It's not a massive volume, but it's more than enough for what we like doing. and I think you get some good movements. So marking up the key levels, we can sort of see that that's great for us, but not if you're a buyer. I don't like that. If you're long there, you just really got to be careful there, I guess. Um, and that there's some serious move. Whether that's a head and shoulders, who knows yet? But it doesn't look good. Yeah, it's not really a level there. Sorry. So what we're doing, we're really coming down. That's potentially, it's just touching down on a minor level there, but I don't think that's more of just reaction, maybe a bounce and then roll back over again. But I think that overall trend, you've got a high here, pull back. We've taken out, made a new high. We pull back, make it a higher low. So really, if that was a strong market, that should have gone up, taken out those highs, at least tested back up there. Not strong at all. It really failed around that 440 mark. So to us, that really did look weak, and it's really starting to fall apart a bit at the moment. So it could potentially. We're heading towards oversold, but it doesn't. Like I said, I like looking at that for an idea of the strength of that move down. It has been quite a good move down, but there's no reason why this can't just capitulate. Take out. If we just get take out this sort of level or head towards that 350 zone. We might get a reaction off there if we don't see some sort of reaction just now, but it really potentially could easily just collapse here. Look, that's not even looking that great really, depending on how you draw your line obviously, but I feel that's really going to start picking up some steam to the downside, which again is quite nice for us. So we've got our risk locked in. We'll be reassessing that today, but okay, they're going in our favour. What else do we have here? I'm starting to forget what we've got. W2C. Got the feeling we might be out of that at the moment. We might have just got chipped out of that, but we're looking for that hold and continue. Look, it could easily pull back, make a higher low, and then go again, but we'll see how that goes. NMT. So we're long from 36 here, so that's been really stalling. It's looking okay. It's still looking a bit positive, but that could easily just roll over, take out this low, and then it's all over, especially in this type of market. Yeah, so anyone got any questions on what we've discussed there, or anything in particular before we dive into just having a look at gold? Just let me check the emails, check a couple of things here. Okay, I've just checked the emails, so just see if anyone's sent through a chart at all. No, looking good. Alright, so that just popped up. It's still it's still got a bit of strength. This is Neo Metals. It's a very low volume obviously, but just with these low volume ones you've got to be careful obviously. Just be careful with trading them, I guess, but they get some really good moves sometimes, so we do still like that one. It's in a good zone. You can see this on the weekly basis. That's in oversold. We like to see that sort of curving motion. It's finding some support, taking out some minor highs there. Really, there could be a bit more action in, but from a daily basis, we might get a bit more contraction. But if it takes out this 37.5, that level 38, then I think it's pretty much going to push up into this zone at least 40, and potentially push up towards the highs around the 50 mark. But we'll see how that goes. Alright, let's just... This is one here we actually... I don't mind. DRA on a weekly basis. I've had this for a while. I mean, it's not an alert of ours, but I've had this for a while. It's looking good. You can see that type of price action, that really curving, and it's curving again, building that higher low in here. It's pushed up. You see it sort of shocks to the upside, then it contracts a bit, consolidates, buy a step in, push it back up again, and it's come all the way back down, and it's sort of just flushed out this low in here and then bounced again. So that's technically it's looking quite good. It's got some good support through 22.5, 22 on a weekly basis anyway. It's got into oversold there and still held up quite nicely, and it's starting to just reverse and head up now. So if that can get some legs, we should... I'd expect it to get through that 37.5 into 40, the mid 40s potentially. So might take a bit of time, but that's looking quite good. Now let's go through gold. All right, this is something I just wanted to have a quick look at. Uh, all right, so how about EVN? All right, actually that was another one. Thank you very much for that, Paul. That's, I knew there was one that we liked on that EVN. You can see, well, that's pretty much identical. That's EVN chart there. That's identical. That's the S&P. That's the ETF of the gold, well, all the gold stocks. You can see S&P All Ords Gold sub-industry. So that's really just an ETF of the gold stocks and what they're doing. So that's EVN looks pretty much identical to that. So it looks, to me, it's showing some positive signs. All right, let's kick it off. Let's just start. Actually, we'll go to this one here. Might help. Sorry, just get the right chart there. All right. Watch list. Gold. How come I can't see that? Sorry, I'm just trying to get up a 8. All right. So looking at GOLD is another ETF. It's a good, just a bit of to give you a broader overview of what gold could be doing and where it's heading. But this is a gold ETF, a physical gold. Looking at that, I mean, monthly, on a month basis, that's, I think, showing some seriously good signs, really, and got some good potential there. You can see it's built a low here, higher low on a monthly basis, just washing out that 14, pushed out. All this is inside of these highs up here, but it's grinding its way back up. It could find resistance up there. We don't know what's going to happen, but that technically is not. It's looking pretty good in my eyes. It's had and since about, I think it's about January, mid-year, January, June, July, we've had gold sell off, but it's really just coming into, that's a key level in here. If we draw that up, so we've got a key level just in here, providing daily support. So this is a weekly, I think this is a weekly. You've got another key level down here, and then you've got that zone right through. It's touched quite a few times, had a bit of a washout before it took off, and you can see that contraction lower. It does. This is where people get caught a bit. Just be wary, but as soon as it does, it's got to take out the highs before. If that was going to be a key level, it really should have taken out those highs, and that becomes a key level, and then you get that contraction back, and you get that sort of price action. So at the moment, we've got the key highs up here. It's pulling back. This is what we're talking about: 1/3 to 2/3 of this leg up. It's pulled back, and it's done. It's pretty much done that. Well, it's doing that at the moment, and it's looking like it's coming into a good zone, good buy zone. That leg down's running out of steam potentially. There's a probability it could be heading higher. So really, gold has the potential. It could push up and really just be attacking these overall highs right up here. You can see that high's fallen short of that. That previous high that's back in 2011. It's a long way away, but you can see that nice shaped curving bottom. If we build that steam, we could just flush out these lows. You don't know, consolidate a bit just in this sort of zone, and then start edging higher towards 700, so 17,500 or thereabouts, even above that, 17,700. So if we work our way up to there, I think there's a lot of potential in gold. If we just take a bit of a XGD, the industry, what are the gold stocks doing? Yeah, let's draw that up. I quite like that chart there. So I just think, keep it in your back of the mind. I know it's not so much been a gold bug or anything. It's just technically they're starting to show some good signs. That level through there, you can see that contraction. It's pushed down, made a lower high, lower low. It's sort of tried, that's there. Again, it's down. So that top of price action there, we always look for. It's made that higher low in here, but that lower high is coming to play. Pushed down, made a lower low. We're pushing back up. So what we could see from here, we've got that move up there. We could see a bit of this action, and then go. So this is where we're looking to potentially take just be wary of what gold could be doing, and that by the time we get this type of price action, we could be in here, and this trend down, we're looking for that to sort of break, if that makes sense. You see that move down there, that contraction lower, we're looking for that to break. So we're looking for an opportunity where we can buy after that break, or just when it's breaking, and just see if we can get that. We're going from contraction lower, we're looking for that expansion, and this is the overall industry. So there's going to be a lot better charts. Like for instance, we'll look at EVN now. There's going to be some lot better charts that are showing some really good signs. All right, let's take a look at EVN. So you can see that. I don't know why I drew that. You can see why we're starting to get a bit. It's just that some of these charts are looking really good. You can see that there. It's really just pulling back to that trend line, that support line there. To me, that it's starting to look really nice. All right, you can see it's pushed up today. Just taking out that low, so we're starting to get that contraction back up again. The key level's up towards that 5,000. If we get up towards 5,000, if we go back to this chart, that key level up there, we're sort of breaking out of this downtrend. So I mean, there's a bit of work to do to get up there, but it's going. I think just keeping an eye on some gold, the gold sector, some gold shares. Let's take a look at EVN then. You can see it's had a good move up there on a weekly basis. Our key level really is right down near 140, 150, 145. Key support zone there. We actually, but in saying that, you can see this key level down at $2. It's pushing back into that zone. It's not hard and fast $2 to the T. It's more of a zone, say 2 to 210, even 190. Down here you can see it's touched up through that. That's up towards, what's that? That's a high of 216. So that 210, 15 zone, we pulled back, made it. That's that sort of major lower high just in here. Another one that's spiking up, had a big deep correction, but it's still holding that above that 30-cent zone. This is on the monthly, don't forget. And then we've had a big projection, and it's just pushed straight up through that $2 zone. So really, that 210 zone is quite a key, and we can see that it's just touched down there now, 210. So if we can draw that up, just remembering that is really a key level. Okay, just remembering that. Let's draw that sort of zone through there is a key support zone in my opinion. So keeping that in mind, you can see it's touched down there. We've had that original push up that was rejected quite well. Build a higher low just in here. Built a higher low just in here. That's pushed us up through, and that's come from fairly low. So that's a good little leg up. You can build that higher low in here, and it's just continued its way up to the highs just above 3. All right, from there we've just contracted lower, but this level's holding. This is quite important. I think it's a really good technical sign. It's really nice, and you've got that potential support holding. So that's similar to the XGD chart of the overall sector. We're getting a similar price action here, so it's contracting in. Now, if we do get some sort of, we're starting to see gold push up. Whether that continues, whether it has a bit of a pullback, a correction, and then goes again, starts rallying. There's a fair few gold charts that are technically starting to set up, and we think they're coming into a good zone there. You can see a bit of divergence. Not that I look at that a hell of a lot, but that's what people do look at, that type of thing, divergence on charts. Stochastics, RSI, whatever MACD, doesn't matter what you look at it, but you're getting that divergence. And the key thing is that 210 zone is hold ups. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on there, being rejected each time, but it is making lower highs, so it's still pushing down into that zone. So really what we want to see, if we got that 210 zone there, we've had that push down, bounce back up, another push down. We're starting to get this type of price action here. If we can get a bit of a push up, and even this type of price action, a bit more contraction, and then we've got our potential buy in there after we built that higher low. Does that make sense there? So I think by the time you get this type of price action, it takes out these highs here. That's going to probably potentially take us out through that contraction there. And if it pulls back and builds that higher low, major higher low, somewhere between 230, 220, 240, it could be a really minor pullback, because if this market gets strength, if this stock gets strength, it is a very strong market, then you probably find this pullback won't be it'll be quite shallow. So sometimes you really just got to jump in. I mean, we can only assess it as we go, but just be wary of these types of things. But we would love to see a nice higher low. So any sellers that still for whatever reason are starting to sell because this level 260 potentially holding, we've pushed up here to 250. We start getting that move down like this. People might be selling just to go, I want to get out, I'm holding this is going to roll over, blah blah. Then you start getting that higher low. Buyers are stepping in earlier. They're not waiting for 210. They're happy to step in and buy at 230. That's the type of price action we want to see, and that's where I think we could get that really strong leg up to 3 and above. All right, how did you go there, Paul? Understanding all that? Does that make a bit of sense? Looks good. Looks good to me, anyway. Saracen, we just sent an alert out today for anyone subscribed. That's getting a similar type of price action, showing some good signs. You've had that big contraction lower. That's from, I think it was no, that's beginning of August, July, August. You've had that sort of wash out of these highs at 180. Didn't get too much further than that, and it's rolled over since then, making a lower high. You can see that acceleration just gap down and then consolidating a bit in this zone here. Again, some good potential on that. It's coming, it's sort of still a bit of a way off. Even 1 could be a good zone on that one, but it is, you can see that stochastic, like we said, that's a good strong move down. The potential, as it gets to oversold, really that's more of a probability increase that it's going to bounce. Doesn't mean it will, but that's just the way you got to view it, and then really just looking for setups from there. So that, again, we've got that downtrend, that contraction lower. If that starts showing signs of breaking out and starts taking out a few of these little highs, inside highs, then okay, keep an eye on it. Northern Star, yeah, that's a bit clearer what's going on there, I'd say. So that key level around 4, it's sort of pushed up to 4, touched through it, pulled back, built a high low, and gone right up towards $6. Had a big correction low. That's quite steep. May have a bit of work to do still, but it's in that zone again. It's getting towards that buy zone, so potentially there's a few of them that are really entering in that zone. So that's what we like about it. It's not just 1 or 2, it's pretty much the whole market. That gold sector, which could be showing some good signs. Not saying it will, but the signs are there and it's looking good. Okay, the market's still down 50 points. St. Barbara's another. I mean, look at this type of price action. That's, if you're in here, this is what we love to see, these types of curving bottoms. That's just slowly the sellers are getting washed out, buyers are stepping in, slightly higher levels, slightly higher level. Then you start getting acceleration in price, even a correction as there's good profit taken in there, coming to resistance zone, but those high lows are holding, and it's gone again. That's great price action on St. Barbara, but again, we're getting that similar. You can just see all these sort of confluence of different charts, zones. They're all looking good. So I think there's potential building there. We looked at EVN, didn't we? Yeah, we just did that one. Northern Star, looked at St. Barbara. Oz Minerals, we were looking at that. I was more looking at for correct under that, build that higher low. It didn't, it just took off. So you can see what we're saying with strong markets. Sometimes they just don't look back. I mean, you're going to miss them. There's going to be times, for what I look at, actually just draw this up. There's a few interesting little, but just some sort of structural setups that always take my fancy, I guess. Just got to check on something, guys, just to be quick. That's all good. Charts. Great. All right. So this one here, this sort of has a bit of a habit. Similar setups. You can see that it's contracting lower. Found a support zone there. It's tried it once, tried back up, washed that out, then just gone on with it. It's hard to trade this one. It has had a good strong move up. You can see up here, then it's pulled back. That's a tougher one to trade because it's on a. We're on a daily. We're on a daily. For me, there's not some strong setups. Same type of style in here. You've had that contraction lower. It comes to a point where it just touches on the same point. A bit of a washout there, like we have just sort of these lows. Then bang, off she goes. hard to trade again. So you can have that strong push up towards that highs, consolidate slightly below them, and then goes again. You can see that type of price action there, and it was strong after that, but a bit tougher to trade on this one here. Now currently we're getting up to that highs. We've had that similar type of price action as that. You build that base, rejection of that zone. I think it's 570, and it's just gone up quite strong. Whether we see that push up strong, and then we start seeing this type of price action, really minor, and then go. Then you've got an inside level to trade from with higher lows, for continuation up into 710 or even through that. Potentially they will go, it'll just smash through it like it has in previous price action. But that, I guess what I'm trying to say is just take note of what it's done in previous price action. Just for that sort of repeating setup. Each stock is different, they trade slightly different, so it's just always worth noting and just going through that sort of stuff. What else do we have here? So is anyone else, there's another gold stock or anything just when we're touching on that they're looking at? If you have, just whack it into chat. We'll see what people are liking. Let's take a look at physical gold. Let's have a quick spot gold. So we do look at this quite a bit in the mornings. Actually, not in the morning, I'd say, but more. We do look at it mainly at night, just going to the European US session. Not much happens during our day session, so there's not a lot of need to look at it early in the morning. But it's just keep an eye on. I think keep your eye on gold. This is a 4-hour chart, but we've got more than enough data in there. You can see, yeah, you can see gold's it's pushed up from right down 1051. In 2016 had that good run up towards 1280, a couple of $100, come back, tried to go again, and if you can't take out those highs significantly, it did take it out. I mean, it is probably, what's that, 1280, got it about 13, so that's about $20 I know, but not a very good sort of continuation price there. It's struggled up around 13, pulled back, so it's just washed out a few of those lows, and what it really does is just getting that steam that people put on the sidelines just for them to get back in, because if everyone's long, who's left to buy it? And that's probably what's sort of happened up here. You've got people positioned long, just run out of steam, run out of buys, and it's had the people have just seen that profit taking this curve, whether they're long from here or they're long from in here, happy to take some profit. It's just washed out through down this sort of key level, and then you can see that started to hold in these minor levels in here, and then it's gone again, and it's had sort of that leg right up to 1375, and at the moment we're contracting. We're sort of potentially at this stage we were expecting that 1305 to hold, and it's got that big washout through that zone. I think that's more, that was more back then to do with the US dollar strength, and it's just people giving up the ghost, I guess, just giving up any longs that are built up in here, people buying off 1305. I've seen these lower highs build. That's just a lot of pressure on the downside. They've just been either washed out, stopped out, whatever, and it's just pushed down to, and it's finding some support at 1250 at the moment. Doesn't mean that it can't push up and then roll over again, but I think longer term what we would want to see is maybe a push up here, push up, and then you get this maybe contraction lower like we've previously seen. We could get a wash right out of here, and then these lows start holding again, and then price could easily just start making its way back up again, or just breaking out of this contraction zone here. Or we may just get, rather than pushing all the way down, we get that sort of push up, contraction lower, and then pulling up short, even at 1262 for example. And you might just get, as soon as you start seeing that type of price action, it builds a higher low, I think then we're starting to look good, and we're starting to look good for a push up. Alright, just give me 1 second. You hear my little girl on the sidelines there. All right, so that's what I think we could be looking at on gold. And I think that's got some potential. If we've seen some good reaction off 1250, and that's really in line with everything else there. So you can just bear with me 1 second there, guys. Yeah, but it could just back again. Just we can see that continuation higher, that holding that trend. We're starting to come to that zone where, you know, remembering the stocks, what the stocks are doing, the sector's doing, and all that sort of stuff. That's starting to show some good signs. And if we've got all these shorts building up in here, and we come in, we start putting pressure on and build that major high low, or we just wash out this level, whichever way we look at it, then all these shorts that are built up, there's quite a few of them, could be put under pressure. We may see that pop up and just see a sharp, a strong move higher. Okay. RMS. Oh, bang for your buck, RMS. I think we've got RMS. Yep. Ah, okay. Now that's looking great. Yeah, there. So we've got RMS, which is looking really nice. Um, we do like this. We've had this in alert. You probably know, Clement. That's where we're looking at it. It's looking great. Again, that's that similar type of price structure you can see in here. Let's quickly draw it up. I'll just make that a bit nicer. Aurelius, it's only around 700,000, but we've got that from, got a nice low built in here, another low built in here, and we start to get that, if I can, this is going to be hard, you can see that sort of curving action there. We're getting that again here, which is, I think, is fantastic. You really just want to see that. It's just when buyers are holding, are stepping at the same level, the sellers are coming in and they start running out of steam. The sellers and buyers have to step in a bit early, which we've got, a high low built in here, and now we're just starting to get a push up through these highs. Okay, we got a 49. I think we're happy to buy at 49. It's just touched, so we're just a touch in front at the moment. But I think this has got the potential that it can take up to 52. This region here could easily get up to there, and then find a bit of maybe back and fill, make another high low, and then go again. We'll just have to see if we can get through that. But you can see that price structure wise, that is it's hard to find better sometimes. Really, that looks nice. BHP, we'll have a quick look at that now too. So does that make sense there, Clement? That's cheaper stock, more bang for your buck. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit late to read these sometimes. Yeah, I think that's got a lot of potential. It could easily get up through that and just continue on. If we take into account what's happening on a weekly basis, you can see that, yeah, massive potential for that to be a major high low, and that just to push straight up through 65. And if you can look back, that's sort of a key zone, at 60. I mean, it could fall short. We could start pushing up and sort of fall short of that, taking out the high at 65 at around 60, just because that's been a bit of an action area. But the fact that we got through it, that's what I love to see. You get through that level on that push up. It comes from a sort of fairly low region, has a good strong push up. It doesn't find sellers right at that level. It goes through. It washes them out. So really, what you're doing there is anyone that's sort of shorting, I mean, whether it's shortable or not, they're happy to sell out there. That's just washing people out there. And it's come back and it's built another high low around that 45 mark. That looks fantastic. So that could easily, take into account it's previously broken it, it could easily just break through. Once it gets through 65, it's sort of cleared these major levels too. I don't know if you see. Yeah. Okay, you can just see that. That's it way back here. That was back in 2010. Major push up. Obviously, it's been an action reaction level again. That's 60 in here. Sort of pushed up, rejected, retagged it on its way down. Had another go at it, pushed down, and then we've built that beautiful base in here, pushed up through it, and potentially building at high low. So I think that's got a lot of potential, that one too. All right, BHP. Yeah, that's been a good move up pretty much all this year. But the only thing I don't like about it, and I don't know if you like me for saying or not, is that that type of price action. You can see, and it's been sold quite heavily. Yeah, we understand that's been sold quite heavily down there. You can see that acceleration in price. Again, we'll draw this up. I'm getting good at this, that's why I use it all the time, I guess. Alrighty. So you've had that move down. It's contracted. You can see that type of price action. Not so much. It's sort of reaching. It's really struggling. It's really struggling, and it's made that double top in here, which is roughly, it's just washed out this high here, but it's made a higher low, and then we've just collapsed and just taken out all these levels. Okay, so that's really that leg down. If we can, this might look fairly good. I don't know, but if we sort of project that down, that's sort of taken us into this zone. Now what we've done though, obviously, is just we pushed down. Once you get that little breakout, and it really, you can see from the highs at 36, it didn't make that major lower high in here somewhere, which we would expect prior to breaking that zone. It's just pushed straight through. So a lot of the times when they do that, they'll pull back into the zone and then roll over from there, which you saw. But you've seen that really, this last leg down, that's really accelerated. So what we're potentially seeing now, this is a weekly again, is just contraction, because we've got a key level more up here. So whether or not this type of price action, if we'll drill it down to a daily in a second, if this is contraction just on a weekly, we expect to see, as pushed up, we expect to see potentially a lower high, and that could take us back down. Whether we retest this zone down to 54, we don't know. If you would be buying in here, there's nothing wrong with that at all, because it was in a major, probably in a monthly zone there. Monthly, see, it's washed out that monthly level there. That's at 18, so it's really just got down to 14. Big wash out of that zone. So when you see that type of price action, we could be contracting, could push back down to 18 and find buyers, start stepping in, and then go again. But there's a few things. That type of price action is more of not serious buying, just jumping in just yet. It has taken us higher, which is great. Nothing against buying it in there, especially when you see. So I guess just bearing that in mind, we've got, I was going to stick my hand over it, that makes no difference to people watching on the stream, but up until this point, that point there, we've got this price action. We don't know what's happening here. We know that that's sort of a key level up towards 26. It's rolled over quite hard, so we expect some sort of reaction. We don't know what's going to happen, whether it's just going to keep going. We don't at that point, we don't know what's going to happen. So if we go back and look at the daily chart, okay, if we start seeing a move higher, it could just be contraction back up towards 26, so we've got to bear that in mind if we're going long. If we haven't gone long, we potentially think it's going to go short. We have to look for the price action, and we haven't got that just yet, but that's something we've got to just keep in mind. If we go, we've got the daily here. BHP, so we head down to this zone here, that's 14, so that's a big sell-off. Now, just looking for a key level, which is it's gonna hint to me that this push down is failing. Okay, it's pretty obvious it's through here. Okay, not obvious, but that's at a bit of a bounce. That's your swing high, whatever you want to call it. I just call it the anchor for the move down. So anyone that's selling it in here, they're quite late in that move down. That's pretty clear. You're selling it in here, you're probably going to have your stops just a touch above that swing high. So once it starts washing those out, you know that those late shorts in there that have sold it down here are pretty much probably going to be flushed out. So the next key level we're sort of working towards is way up, right up here. Okay, so then for me as a buyer, I'm starting to look for, I wouldn't have been buying it just in here, because you don't know, that could just contract up, fall over, and you just got stopped out. These shorts have been flushed out, we know that, and we've got that move back down, so we're sort of looking for key levels to hold for a move up. You've got that in here. That could have been a nice little entry prior to this high. you've got that push up, then you pull back. So you can see that stair stepping action has provided some opportunities, which I think is great. And if that's the way you've been following it, Paul, fantastic. That's really, really nice. So if you're thinking about buying it later on up here, I'd be concerned because you're getting into that zone. So this leg up starting to get extended, starting to, potentially need it doesn't have to, but it could need a pullback. It could just grind higher and do this type of thing, grind up through a key level, which is here. You might see that push up and then that pull back back into the zone, then build to go. And then you're looking for that type of price action in here. So that's, I think, the way to attack this just now. I wouldn't be buying BHP just here. I mean, it could be completely wrong. It just goes bang and then it's off. You don't know. But that's what I'm willing to take. I want to put probability on my side. These are the types of things I like to see, that type of price action. And I think that's, if this leg's just going to keep going, that's a bit rare. It's a bit uncommon. Very low probability thing to happen. And I only want to trade high probability trade setups, price structure. That's what I'm looking for. So I think this leg up here, if it contracts, you're looking for sort of these major lows to hold, and we might get, now that I've made that a bit messy, let's just clean that up. So we've got if we can just draw sort of a key levels through here. Okay, we know that we contracted off that low. That's our major key level. We need to see that hold before we look at buying. So on a weekly basis, if we do get that push up, this level holds, even if it washes out, it doesn't matter. If it washes out, we get a pull back in, we might pull all the way back down to here, retest that, fall short. If we don't get a push through this resistance and we fall short, we start seeing those lower highs build. That's what we want to see, and then we get that push down. These people who've been buying it here are going to get washed out as soon as you get that break of that trend line down. You're just looking for them to get washed out. Yeah, no, that's true. You're long, don't see any reason to sell just at present. Fair enough. You want to have potentially these sort of levels. If that starts breaking, then I'd be looking to get concerned, depending on where you're long from. But yeah, if this becomes a lower high in here and we get that type of price action pushes down, it could push down to support 21. Go again. We don't know. It's only here. I wouldn't be selling it until I see some sort of action down, or this key level broken. Some sort of action down towards sort of that key anchor level. We don't know where this could just start making lower highs, lower lows, pushing down somewhere in this zone here, and then that type of price action. And longer term, I think that's what we'll see more than anything. Maybe this holds, roll over, build the lower high, higher low somewhere in here, and then you get a big, strong leg up through this 25, 26 zone into new highs. Well, anyway. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think if you've bought it, can you tell us where you're sort of long from? I think around that zone's good. There's nothing. I think that's good trading and taking that, because you've got a lot of fat down here in these sorts of zones. You've got a lot of fat in those trades up towards. You don't know how far it's going to contract. It's been sold heavily, especially when you get this major acceleration down like that leg. That's a good sign that move down's running out of steam. That's when you see capitulation. Quite happy. Good. That's so. If I'm right, you're entering in here. Your initial risk was down here. Beautiful trade. You've got that leg up, following it up. You've locked in very minimum. You're locking in the gain, and that's all we're trying to do. Now, if we do build that higher low back in the 21 zone, you could expect to get up to at least 25 and a half. I expect to be testing that, maybe test through, and then see how we go from there. Fantastic. All right, let's just take a final look at the market, see what's happening. It's down 53. It's hovering down down 50. Just take a look quickly at that daily trade. Yeah, so we're pushing down to that support. That's that trend line down there, holding at the moment. But yeah, in that oversold. So we've had that push down towards oversold. Don't expect just because it's down there it's going to bounce. But this is just an indication that move down could be running out of steam. Probability it is. Probability it's going to be a higher low again. Above 51.50. this trend can hold. I mean, everyone, you got that similar price action, a green candle there, and another red, strong red candle. We get that similar repeating. If that's the case, contracting, we expect to probably contract, find resistance up here, but I don't expect on the ASX. I think this type of move, well, I'm going to draw that. This type of move down and taking out support. Alright, seem to be freezing in there. Is a bit less probability. If that makes sense. Alright, it sounds like I've got crazy kids in there. But yeah, we'll call it a day there. And just see how it goes. But yeah, just good luck today and good luck in the next few days. This market's a bit negative, obviously, but if you've got any shorts, just try to wring as much out of them as you can, and we'll see how they all play out. ASX has gone a bit further. That's good. That's good. TGR's holding up, so that's not really doing anything. They're down, but they're not continuing on too much. But anyway, yeah, good luck for the day. Thanks very much for joining us. Now, tomorrow morning I'll be on, and then I head off to Queensland that evening for a few days till Tuesday. I'm going to give it a go. We'll let you know tomorrow whether or not we'll be on Friday morning. I'll still be in the office. I'll see if we can do that stream. We can get that organised, and that'll be back on Friday and then Monday as per usual. And then Tuesday may or may not be on, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, we'll keep you informed on what's going on. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Like I said, overnight, if you've got anything you want to look at, any charts that you want to just assess, feel free to send them through to support@tradesetup.com.au. Otherwise, just whack them through chat and we'll go over them. Good luck today, guys. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me.